If you like my dad's videos, please subscribe to QA Insights channel.
In this video, we are going to see the differences between the flow control action and the timers. As you know, we will be injecting the think time or a timer or sleep or whatever you call in our script so that we don't overwhelm the servers. So that is the best practice we have to follow whenever you are analyzing the performance of your application. But there are different approaches you can follow if you want to design the test plan based on the timers or the flow control action, or you can just write thread.sleep. So you can approach in multiple ways. But I would like to clear the differences between the flow control action and timers so that we can achieve the same thing by leveraging those two. So first, we are going to see about the flow control action in the first demo, and we are going to analyze how many samples we are achieving, and then we will see the same test plan by approaching from the timers. So for the demonstration purpose, I am going to create a thread group, and inside the thread group I am going to add a say let us start with the transaction controller, and I'm going to name this as a transaction 1, and then I'm going to just duplicate this, and I'm going to name this as 2 and 3. So let me check this box, generate a parent sample in all the 3 transactions, and let me save this. And inside this transaction controller, I'm going to add one sampler HTTP request. Let me rename this to HTTP request 1. Let us hit the local host. The port number is 4000. So we are running some demo in the port 4000. And I'm going to again duplicate this, and I'm going to drag and drop into transaction controller 2 and 3 respectively. And then I'm going to change this to 3 and 2 respectively. So now we have 3 requests, 3 transactions. And let me add the listener. Let us go with the view results tree, and also let us go with the aggregate report so that we can see how many samples we are achieving. And in the thread group, I'm going to add 2 threads, and loop count is infinite, and we are going with say let us execute around say 40 seconds. Let me reduce 30 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to add another variable called thread_num. Just go to Tools, Function Helper dialog. Just scroll down and select a thread_num. So this will print the thread_num in the aggregate report as well as in the view results tree. So let me add the hyphen here. Okay, now let us focus on flow control action. To add the flow control action, just right click, go to thread group, and go to sampler and click on flow control action. So we are not going to leverage this particular element, and not by this approach. So first let me explain about the flow control action. So this element, it was formerly known as a test action. So this particular element will help you to take some logical action on the thread or the test. So basically, if you want to pause your thread during for certain duration, or if you want to start the next thread loop whenever it encounters, or break, or go to next iteration, or if you want to stop and select the target, or stop now and you can select the target. So by default it selects a pause, and the duration will be milliseconds. So basically, if you use this approach, just pause 0, then there is no breathe time. It will just go to the next element or next iteration based on your settings. Okay, now let me delete this because we are good with the flow control action, only on the timer part, because our objective is to learn the flow control action and the timer. So instead of adding by right clicking the individual element, there is another way you can add to your thread group. So all you need is just right click and add think times to children. So this will add to all your elements in between, and then it will just configure it by default. So this particular flow control action, if you add by right clicking and add think times to children, it will get added. There is another complementary element will get added. So this complementary element called uniform random timer, you might ask why it is getting accompanied. So whenever you're adding the think time. So there is a reason behind this. So if you want to pause your thread using the constant delay or equivalent of constant timer, then you can configure the duration here. So let me configure this one as say 2000 milliseconds. So now what will happen, it will consider this particular duration. So assuming this is disabled, but I want to inject some random delay. So here there is no settings for random delay. So it will take only one value, which is a duration. So if you want to give some range, it is not possible here. So if you want to have some randomness, then you have to set this to 0. Then you have to make use of this pause name, which is a uniform random timer. And here you can set the constant delay offset and random delay maximum. So I want something, say random delay of say 5 seconds. Then you can have this 5000 here with constant delay offset of 1000. So this is the main reason why it is getting added. So if you want constant delay, you can go with this duration. If you want something random, then you can use the uniform random timer. It is not just uniform random timer. You can use Gaussian, you can use any other timer. You can just put thread.sleep. So whatever you like, you can just add it as a child. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these pauses because I'm not going to use the random delay for the demonstration purpose. I'm going to delete this. So instead, let us configure the think time here as say 2000 milliseconds. If your understanding of JMeter execution order is right, so whenever you start this particular test using 2 threads, infinity loop, duration is 30 seconds. So first it will execute the transaction controller 1 for the 2 threads. Then it will wait for 2 seconds. Then it will go to transaction controller 2, wait for 2 seconds, 3, wait for 2 seconds. So this is the execution it should follow. So I'm not going to fast forward this particular recording. I'm going to leave as is. But whenever I click on start button, I just want you to monitor the elapsed time. So this is important so that you will understand how the timer in the flow control action works. So now let me clear clean up this and let me start run. So first it executed the transaction controller 1 and waited for 2 seconds, then second one, then third one, and it is going again in a loop. Now let us wait for 30 seconds and let us see how many samples we are achieving. So that is our objective, just to compare. So in 30 seconds, we have achieved around 30 samples. So this is the approach you can follow if you want to add the timers between your transactions. So we have 100 transactions. If you want to add, right click, add think time to children. Okay, now I'm going to, let us name this as FCA. I'm going to duplicate this. Let us say timers. And what I can do is I can just remove these FCAs. Okay, now I'm going to add the timer manually. So I'm going to add the constant timer, say 2000, and I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to say we'll just name this as timer 1, and again I'm going to duplicate this 2, 3. So now I'm going to add this, add the timer 2. Probably I can add it here. and timer 3 I can add it here, or like this. Okay, now we have the timers. So we don't have the FCA. So this is FCA, flow control action. We have the timer between the transactions. So timer, it works a little different actually. So timer, the execution order is, first it will execute the configuration elements, preprocessor, timers, samplers. So I have put up a video about this. You can just check it out. I will add the link in the description. So that is how the JMeter works. It does not go by how you are seeing in the test plan. So that is not the way it executes. So it follows its own rules, hierarchy. So the internal architecture is different from what we are seeing visually. Okay, now let me note down. So total we have achieved around 30. So let me just disable this particular thread group. So now what will happen if we execute, first the timer will take priority. So here, as you know, first it executed the controller 1, then it waited. But now what will happen is the timer will take charge. So we are going to use the same timer delay of 2 seconds across all the timers. So now I'm going to clear this and I'm going to click on run. So now as you see, the timer has a high priority. So it is taking around 6 seconds because timer's scope has higher priority. So it is adding up all these timers. So that is why there is a delay of 6 seconds before it starts executing the controller 1. So I'm not sure whether you have noticed or not. So let me clear the screen. So here you can see the timer starts with 1. Let us wait for 6 seconds. Then only you can see this output here. See, after 6th second only it has started getting the request. Again it will wait for 6 seconds. Then it will execute transaction controller 2. Again it will wait for 6 seconds. Then it will wait for transaction 3. So here the throughput we are not achieving as before as flow control action, but we are achieving the very less number. As you see, it was around 30 here. I have cleared the screen, but it was 30, and now we are achieving only 10. Okay, now let me clear the screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this particular timer as a child element. Similarly, timer 2, timer 3. It doesn't matter whether you are adding like this, because timer always takes priority. So we can have mix and match. So now let me execute this. So here if you see, the timer will start after 2 seconds, and then it will start executing. Similarly, it will wait for 2 seconds each, then it will execute. So as you see here, for every 2 seconds, there is a sampler. Now let us wait for 30 seconds. Okay, so now as you see, whatever we achieved, the number of samples using the flow control action, the same has been achieved using the timer. So which approach you can follow? So it totally depends on your objective, because I have used both. I am using both in my current the thread group, whichever I'm executing. So if you want something like a delay, initial delay, then you can start with flow control action. And wherever you like, wherever you want to put the constant timer, you can add it. Or I want to decide, I want to follow the easy path. Like I want JMeter to add between the requests. Then you can go with the right click, add think time to children. But I feel this particular approach, the second one, because I will have more control. I can add wherever I want, because I know how JMeter works. So I don't want the timer for this transaction too. Then I can just delete it. Or assume that you have 150 transactions and you have added all the timers using the think time to children, but you want to customize. Then you have to again identify it and you have to disable it. But whenever you start doing manually handcrafting your stuffs, then you'll know what's going on. Then you can reach out to the particular element easily, or you can just open the JMX file in the XML. You can just automate something. So that's what I do. I just want to try save some time. So that is the for the power users. But again, I'm giving an option to you guys, so you can decide how you want to approach your think time or timer or pause. So whatever, how you want to approach, it is up to you. But make sure you know how the timer works, because timers always takes priority. So that is one key thing you should know. There is no again right or wrong approach here. Whichever you feel you can use. So there are two ways, and you can follow this. So before I stop recording this, I want to show you something. So let me just disable this, and let me add the new thread group, and let us add HTTP request. And let me add say think times to children. And here, let me just put it here at the top. And again, let me add one aggregate report. So let me call this as HTTP request 1. Okay, now I'm going to add here, say 3 seconds. And inside the pause, I'm going to add a random of 1 second and constant delay of say 3 seconds. Okay, now what will happen? So here we have 3000 here, plus we have constant delay of 3 seconds. Again, we have a random delay. And let us execute just one iteration, and let us see what is the output we are getting. So how many seconds it is taking. So let me click on run. So now if you see, it will sum up everything basically. So let us wait. So it took 6 seconds. So this 6 seconds comes from 3 seconds here and 3 seconds here. And random delay, I guess it took 0 in this case. So let me just clear this and run again. It will be 6 seconds. But what I can do is I can just put say 3 seconds. So now minimum it will take 3 plus 3 and random of 3. So now it should take more than 6 seconds. Okay, now let us clear this and run again. See, this time it took 7 seconds because it will add up everything. 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9, because this is random. So between 1 to 3. So this is how this particular flow control action works. And the flow control action is more than timer. So that is the main purpose of this FCA. So this is how stuff works. So understand and go through my tutorials. I have around 60 tutorials, 60 plus and more to come. And please watch and let me know if you have any questions. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.
If you like my dad's videos, please subscribe to QA Insights channel.